Alvar Alto, the Finnish architect who changed the face of modernism. At a time when architecture was seen as a machine for living, cold, rational, detached, Alto dared to ask a different question: what about the people inside? He believed buildings should breathe with nature, respond to culture, and bring warmth back into everyday life. Where his contemporaries designed for machines, Alto designed for humanity. This is the story of how Alvar Alto reshaped modernism, turning it from a mechanical order into a humanist vision of architecture. Born in 1898 in Finland, he grew up surrounded by forests, lakes, and the Nordic culture that would shape his design philosophy. He trained as an architect in Helsinki, but his career was never limited to buildings alone. Alto was also a furniture and industrial designer, even a glassware innovator. He often practiced what is called total design, or Gesamtkunstwerk, a total work of art, creating not just the architecture, but also the interiors, furniture, lighting, and fittings, so that every element worked together in harmony. Alto's philosophy can be described as a humanist modernism, the core of which were four principles. First, organic forms. Inspired by nature, Alto used curves, irregular shapes, and flowing lines to soften the rigidity of modernist geometry. Second, human-centered design. His buildings responded to people's senses, how they experienced light, how they breathed the air, even how they heard sound within a room. Third, integration with nature. Alto's buildings rarely ignored their surroundings. They absorbed the forest, the rock, the light, creating a dialogue between architecture and landscape. And finally, contextual sensitivity. Instead of imposing a universal model, Alto rooted his work in Finnish traditions, local materials, and cultural memory. Together, these principles made Alto's modernism warmer, more organic, and vastly different from the mechanical vision of his modernist peers. In 1939, Alto was given the chance to fully express this philosophy in a single project, Villa Mairea. Commissioned by Mayer and Harry Gullickson, prominent patrons of art and industry, the villa was a bold experiment. They gave Alto freedom to explore ideas beyond convention. From the moment you approach the house, Alto's vision is clear. The entrance columns resemble a grove of trees, some timber, some painted white, some grouped, some standing alone. It's not a rigid grid, but a forest brought indoors. Inside, the layout is L-shaped, creating a balance between public and private, while also forming a sheltered courtyard that captures light and frames views. Floors shift in material from stone to tiles to timber, marking a journey from formal to intimate, public to private. Even the smallest details carry meaning. The fireplace curves like a sculptural form. The staircase flows organically. The pool and balcony invite playfulness and movement. Villa Mairea was not just a home. It was a manifesto, showing that modernism could be more than machine logic. It could be alive, emotional, and human. To understand Alto's breakthrough, we need to place him alongside one of his greatest influences, Le Corbusier. Le Corbusier's Villa Savoye, built in 1929 outside Paris, is one of the most iconic works of modernism. It embodies his famous 5 points of architecture, pilotis, which replaces load-bearing walls with slender columns. Free plan. Due to the structure being carried by pilotis, the interior partitions can be placed freely, allowing for more flexible and open interior layout. Free facade. Due to the exterior walls not needing to bear any loads, they are able to be designed freely. Ribbon windows, which maximized daylight and ventilation. Lastly, the roof garden, which allow Le Corbusier to recover some green space lost to the building footprint. Villa Savoye is a perfect diagram of these principles, a white box floating above the landscape. Pure, rational, efficient. For Le Corbusier, this was the house as a machine for living, universal, repeatable, detached from place. Alto admired Le Corbusier and absorbed his lessons. In fact, Villa Mairea can be read as a response to the 5 points. The pilotis are there, but instead of uniform concrete, they are timber columns of varying size, evoking a forest. The free plan is present in the flowing L-shaped layout, flexible and social. The free facade is reinterpreted as walls that open to the garden, shaped by nature rather than structural logic. The ribbon window principle becomes wide, carefully framed openings that connect the house with the forest beyond. The roof garden is translated into terraces and balconies that merge seamlessly with outdoor living. Alto didn't reject Le Corbusier's framework, he transformed it. He took the same modernist toolkit and reworked it into something rooted in culture, climate, and human emotion. Le Corbusier used a mixture of concrete, glass and plaster, allowing him to create a more industrial look, relating back to his key belief that the house is a machine for living. Alto incorporated industrial-age materials, but through his use of stone, brick and wood he was able to soften them while also expressing Finnish traditions and connection to the natural environment. Overall, Villa Savoye and Villa Mairea may have similar design concept, however, the way both architects took those ideas through their belief of architecture is what sets them apart. Villa Savoye is universal. It could stand anywhere, a detached object of order and efficiency. Villa Mairea is particular. It could only belong to Finland. Its materials, its forms, its spirit, all grow from its context. Le Corbusier's vision was the machine. Alto's vision was the human. To Alvaro Alto, architecture was never just walls and roofs. It was never just machines and geometry. Architecture was about people, about culture, about the landscapes we inhabit and the lives we live within them. Through works like Villa Mairea, Alto redefined modernism. He proved it could be rational and modern, yet still organic, intimate, and profoundly human. That was his legacy, humanizing the machine.